Julius is calling this man Molefe names. But what is interesting is that the man who is late now, who was the businessman of Molefe, Julius would drive at 12 midnight, at 2 o'clock when that man calls and drive to his farm.
No ways.
Drive to his farm.
Oh, who's the man?
Mswazi.
Oh, yes, the late.
Julius will drive to his farm.
Dino Gang, the farm in Dino Gang.
Yes.
Whoa.
After Venterfeld. Julius will leave the bedroom here of Mazotti and drive to that man's house. Julius paid protection, I don't know from who.
Who's Mazotti?
Now, this man and that man were friends. They knew each other. So now that one is dead and this one has a problem, you are now saying this one is this one is that, this one is that. That's hypocritical. He was right in their circle. He was right in their circle.
Oh, wow.
I was at the funeral of Mswazi because I am an MMC of transport. The taxi industry is my stakeholder.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was a big taxi.
Yes.
And I went there. Julius spoke there as a friend of Mswazi.
No way.
He spoke as a friend. How do you then say the friend of Mswazi is now a criminal? Is this? Are you saying Mswazi was a criminal? You were in that circle. If this man was at Mswazi's house, you were there. He probably knows Molefe more than me. But in public, he's portraying a picture of a holy cow. He lives in the backyard of Mazotti, a white person. He says he's not afraid to go to prison, but he goes to get a white woman social worker to come and plead for him. So when it suits him, white people are useful. When he addresses his crowds, white people are evil. So that is Julius, and I'm making that example to show that he speaks for what suits the narrative at that particular time. Julius.
You know, guys, something tells me that this back and forth between Julius Malema and Kunene is not going to end well. You know, people like to say that it's going to end in tears. This is what I'm predicting. Because both of these guys, they are not backing down. And with this court case coming, I wonder what is it that we are going to learn. Because Kunene is not stopping. If anything, he's doubling down. Because yesterday, guys, you remember that we did an update about Kunene responding to the letters that were sent to him by the lawyers of Julius Malema, asking him to retract the statements that he made about Julius Malema there at the podcast and chill. And yesterday we only covered the article about the response of Kunene to this whole thing. But now Kunene has been re-invited to the SABC. He was invited to the SABC to talk about this lawsuit of him against Julius Malema and some of the things that Kunene has alleged here, guys. It is absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane. It is insane. The reason why I want us to go back to this whole thing is because of this interview, specifically because yesterday we couldn't cover this interview right after we dropped that video where we only went through the article talking about the response of Kunene. There Kunene was on television speaking about this whole thing, and I said, okay guys, I think it would be fair for me to bring you back this whole story again so that we can listen to what Kunene is saying.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We know that a political war of words is now heading to court after Patriotic Alliance's Deputy President, Kunene, has rejected a demand to issue an apology to EFF leader Julius Malema, which, of course, is now escalating into a defamation dispute. In a statement, Kunene has said that he will not apologize. In fact, he joins us here in studio to give us some clarity on the merit of this case. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Elsie.
This is a case that's now spilling out into the courts. You are saying that you're not going to issue an apology. On the other end, Mr. Malema is saying, I've been defamed. Talk to us about the merits of this case.
I think the biggest one is that Julius is misusing our justice system. I think he thinks that freedom of expression is only relevant to him or a right to him.
Yeah.
Malema has body shamed old women. He has gone into families. He has body shamed women who are old enough to be his great grandmothers in the name of politics. He has spoken about private affairs of other political leaders. But when I do the same, he always runs to the court. This is the third case that he is taking me to court with. So Julius says that I called him a boy on the MacG podcast, which is true. He is a small boy. I'm 10 years older than Julius, therefore he is a small boy. His argument is that calling him a boy is racist, because which is laughable. He says that during apartheid, white people used to call black people boys. Therefore, I am being racist.
I mean, like, honestly, guys, that is laughable. Honestly, that is laughable. Because if this is an argument that Julius Malema is going to make against Kunene, so I guess other people that have been called boys by Julius Malema can take him to the courts and say that Julius Malema was racist towards them. Because there are so many people that Julius Malema has called boys. But today he's been called a small boy. And he says that no, Kunene is being racist against me because back in the days, the Afrikaners used to call black people boys and it was a racist term. So Kunene is now racist towards Julius Malema. It is laughable. I don't want to lie.
That's quite a laughable desperation. And then I said that he envies white people. And if he were a musician, he would have bleached his skin worse than Michael Jackson. And I still maintain that because when you look at Julius and his association with white people is that of envy. He does not hate them. When he's in front of EFF crowds, he pretends to hate white people when he actually envies them.
Okay, so Mr. Kunene, let me ask you this. You've drafted a media statement with some of the remarks that you're talking to me right now about. It says, your statement says, bring it on Julius Malema. Perhaps now, as you make these remarks and fire these shots, bring us into your confidence. Are you preparing for a legal defense or a political showdown with Mr. Malema?
It's a legal defense. I was just going through the number of issues that is raising. But let me get to the two that he is actually trying to fight me on, which is the fact that he stays in the backyard of Mazzotti, Adriano Mazzotti. It is true. It has been reported. He has also admitted that he had stayed there and he was paying rent. So there's truth. But the biggest one is when I said the late Jotham Msibi,
yes.
Mswazi, used to call him in the early hours and he would wake up, jump in the car and drive to Mswazi's farm, which is in Hammanskraal, from the backyard of Mazzotti. He is saying that is not true. However, I have two affidavits of a person that used to frequent there, that saw him there, that saw him drop the money there. I have an affidavit which is part of the...
I mean, guys, that is money for what? That is money for what? Because today, in the morning, I saw an article from News 24 talking about Julius Malema allegedly dropping a bag of a black Louis Vuitton bag full of money at the farm of the late Mswazi. So I couldn't get into the article because you know that in News 24, they like to bury these stories behind a paywall, and there's no way that I'm going to pay 100 rands to read a story. But I saw something of that nature earlier today, and it's now been circulated that Julius Malema was at the farm of Mswazi and dropping the bags of money. So what was that money for, if the allegations are true?
Of a person that used to frequent there, that saw him there, that saw him drop the money there. I have an affidavit, which is part of the my answering affidavit, of a person that worked there day and night, a person that counted the money on behalf of Mr. Mswazi, a person that has mentioned a Louis Vuitton bag that brought money to Mr. Mswazi, held by Julius Malema, a person that has also said that Julius Malema used to bring expensive bottles of whiskey, Macallan whiskey, which Mr. Mswazi loved so much and enjoyed. So he even knew personal tastes of Mr. Mswazi. So I don't know. When I say bring it on, I'm saying, you say I'm lying when I say Mr. Mswazi used to call you.
Yeah.
But the witnesses who have since signed affidavits to the fact that he's been there, not once at night, he's been there during the day. At some point at night, he was brought in by Zingumalo to the farm. Money was there. So
as you make...
Whoa, guys, these allegations are insane. They are absolutely insane. Yo, Kunene, if what Kunene is saying is the truth, then this guy is going to the courts just to destroy Julius Malema. If what he's saying is the truth. Whoa. Because now even the name of Zingumalo has been brought into the mix. It is Kunene, it is Zingumalo, it is these people that used to work at the farm of Mswazi that claims that Julius Malema dropped bags of money at the farm of Mswazi. Jeez.
These allegations, right? I mean, you talk about having attached affidavits by key witnesses. Why make the allegations publicly first instead of allowing the court process to unfold quietly? Because this is running concurrently now with some of the, startling revelations we're hearing coming out of the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. Unless you are inevitably saying that you're confident of winning this argument in the court of public opinion before the court of law.
No. Remember, once you file, it becomes public. Whatever document that is in court is public. I did not bring myself here. I was called by journalists to come. You are not the first one, or SABC is not the first. I did an interview with Business Day, and they said they have seen my answering affidavits and they want me to speak to it. And that's why I'm speaking to it.
Okay.
And I want to add, Mpo, to say that Julius spoke at the funeral of Ntate Mswazi. But I want to read a paragraph here, how Julius describes this old man that has passed on. He says, Mr. Kunene's reference to Mswazi is a reference to Mr. Jotham Msibi, who was also known as Mswazi. It is well known that Mr. Msibi is reported to have been a taxi boss who was one of the leaders of the taxi cartel. He calls taxi business a cartel. Mr. Msibi is also reportedly linked to the drug trafficking cartel in the underworld and is also alleged to be responsible for assassinations. And then he says, copies of newspaper articles and social media posts that describe Mr. Msibi's links to criminal activities are attached here. So he was a friend of Mr. Msibi. He spoke at the funeral as a friend. There's an interview that he had where he said Mr. Msibi liked him because he used to challenge him. When the man dies, he describes him as a boss of a taxi cartel. The taxi is not a cartel. It's an industry. It's a business that survived apartheid in the hands of black people.
So there are contradictions here. So what is the basis of your court case? I mean, how...
And again, guys, politically, Kunene is just turning the taxi bosses and the friends of the late Mr. Mswazi against Julius Malema. Because if Julius Malema could be given an opportunity to speak at the funeral of the late Msibi as a friend, why is he now categorizing Mr. Msibi in this manner? So if he himself is characterizing Mr. Msibi as a cartel leader or as a drug dealer or some sort, why did he agree to speak at his funeral as a friend? I think this is where everything actually gets mixed up.
How far is it in terms of seeing both of you now in court? Because what we do know is that Mr. Malema wants 1 million rand in damages. Do you think that that's an attempt to silence you financially, or is it simply the legal consequence anyone faces when reputational harm is alleged?
He must go and do an 8 to 5 if he wants a 1 million. He won't get it from me. He's trying to silence me. He's misusing the justice system. But what I was trying to do with reading this paragraph is that here's a man that has spoken. So when he spoke at the funeral of Msibi, of Mswazi, as a friend, didn't he know all these things? Or was he an accomplice to these things that he says Mr. Msibi was?
Ooh. Okay, Kunene cooked there. Kunene cooked. He cooked.
Trying to silence me. He's misusing the justice system. But what I was trying to do with reading this paragraph is that here's a man that has spoken. So when he spoke at the funeral of Msibi, of Mswazi, as a friend, didn't he know all these things? Or was he an accomplice to these things that he says Mr. Msibi was? Because you can't describe a man like this when he's dead. Yet, you would go to his house at night during the day, deliver money, deliver presents, go and speak about that at the funeral. I was at that funeral in my capacity as the NMC of transport. I attend all taxi bosses funerals in Gauteng. And then you describe him like this because you want to give the court this impression that Kunene is saying lies about you. By the way, there's a boy that used to work for Mr. Msibi from Mswazi, Galito Sibande. When Mswazi died, Julius adopted Galito. He goes with him everywhere.
Okay.
Galito
so, unfortunately, our time is almost running out.
So, guys, is this the very same Galito that was mentioned in Madanga Commission by Sergeant Nkosi? Because I think there was a conversation between Sergeant Nkosi and Advocate Charles Carlson about Galito EFF. And Sergeant Nkosi apparently stored Galito EFF or Galito EFF spokesperson. He stored Galito as an EFF spokesperson in his phone. So now we are learning the identity of this Galito that was mentioned at the Madanga Commission by Sergeant Nkosi.
Out. And yes, I've heard the basis of what you're arguing here. What are the merits in court, and when are you going to have your day in court to ventilate this under a legal framework?
These are the documents I have answered.
Yes.
Now they go to court. He must decide if he's proceeding or if it's not. If he's proceeding, then the court will look at our affidavits. They will look at his. They will look at my answering affidavit, and the court will then make a decision.
Okay, so you're clear about one thing. You're not going to issue an apology.
I won't apologize. I won't apologize to a rat. I won't apologize to a man that insults the dead when they fed him. In fact, it is alleged that Mr. Msibi bought Julius and the EFF 8 bakkies. There's that allegation, 8 bakkies for elections of 2024. So I cannot apologize to a man who turns against people. In fact, Adriano Mazzotti must be aware, and Mohammed, because if they die before him, they must be careful that this is how he will also describe them, because he has no honor, he has no integrity, he is a rat.
Okay, Mr. Kunene, this is my last question. What if this now becomes a matter of tit for tat? What if all of a sudden now we hear more about the alleged links that you have with the controversial businessman KT Molefe?
I was there once. I am clear. My party appointed a credible law firm. They have cleared me. The police were there. They found me there. They asked me what I was doing there. They checked my phone, who sent me the address. They let me go. So there's nothing. I'm an open book, unlike him, who hides behind being a parliamentarian, yet he knows dodgy people according to him.
Okay, I wish we had more time.
He distances himself from them so that he can be able to fight Kunene. Go and check. Galito Sibande was the right-hand boy, was the runner of Mswazi. He has taken him in his care in honor of Mswazi.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, but that is the fair question to Kunene, because I still think that we really have to go into the relationship that Ken Kunene apparently had with Mr. Katie Molefe, because he still says that he was at the house of Mr. Katie Molefe only once, but then Afani Masemola at the ad hoc committee said that Ken Kunene was found 2 times at the home of Mr. Katie Molefe. So I still feel like there's something there. There's something there. There's something there. And I feel like with this court case, we might actually get to uncover some of the things that we were not aware of. So Ken Kunene, as much as he might actually look like he's going to smash and win this thing, he must just be careful because this whole thing can turn around and bite him in the behind. Because I still believe that it was not properly discussed why Ken Kunene was at the house of Mr. Katie Molefe. So the whole explanation that he was there to accompany the journalist because they wanted to do an exclusive story with Mr. Katie Molefe, I don't buy it, and I know many people don't buy it. There are many people that actually believes that there was a reason why Ken Kunene was at the home of Mr. Katie Molefe. So maybe we might actually get to learn why is it exactly Ken Kunene was actually there. So this is going to be a very interesting court case, guys. We are going to keep a very close eye on this one. So guys, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts about all of the allegations that Ken Kunene has made? Because these are quite fresh. These allegations that Ken Kunene is covering right now, they were not mentioned on yesterday's articles. They were not mentioned on yesterday's articles. It is through this interview that we are learning about Julius Malema dropping the bag of money at the farm of Mswazi. So now people are wondering what was that money for from the leader of the EFF, and why did he have to drop that money late at night if these allegations of Ken Kunene are actually true, and why is Julius Malema now categorizing Mr. Mswazi as this criminal, whereas he spoke at his funeral as his friend. So there's quite a lot, man. There's quite a lot that is happening here, but time will tell, guys. Time will tell. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts? Please tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to hit the like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabas.